Hi everyone. So I have basically decided to talk about a very, very unique and a different case today. So it deals with emotional perception AI versus Comptroller General of patents, designs, and trademarks. So this is a UK case. So it went to the UK Court of Appeals and then the decision was reversed by the UK Supreme Court. So this basically deals with artificial neural networks. So it's a very interesting case. Let me give you a brief summary about this case. And before that, there was actually an Aerotel test which was laid down in this case, and this was laid down ages ago, about 2 decades ago, and this test was actually overturned by the it was overturned and then it was replaced by another test which is G1 bar 19. So the Aerotel test had 4 factors which didn't hold good in this particular case, and it was replaced by another test or another principle which kind of made history in this particular landmark judgment. So, the European Patent Office actually changed its approach completely for all the forthcoming cases after this particular landmark judgment, because till then it was seen that it was always rejecting software applications because it was outside the scope of patentability, that is, computer program or software applications. So, in this particular case, it was seen that even if the some computer program or any software related application, if it had even an ounce of technical contribution or an inventive step or an intermediate effect which contributed to the technical character of the invention, it could merit patentability. That particular invention could merit patentability, and it was not opposing the exclusion clause which was found as per the European patent laws. So let us now see what the case was really about. So, emotional perception AI actually applied for a patent for a system and method using an artificial neural network to provide content recommendations. So, now what kind of recommendations? So, the ANN actually had to replicate the similarities and differences a human might subjectively perceive between media files such as music tracks, videos, or texts by reference to an objectively measurable physical properties of those files. So, it was actually using a system which would elicit certain or which was trained to manipulate data, and the commercial purpose of that particular system, it was able to elicit responses or recommendation services which could identify content which was very similar or which could elicit a very similar emotional response from the user, or with regard to music content or videos that they already liked, that the user already liked. So that was the purpose of this particular ANN that was contained under emotional perception, that, for which the emotional perception AI applied for a patent. So now the UK Intellectual Property Office rejected the application initially on the ground that it fell within the exclusion as program for computers, and as such fell within section 1(2)(c) of the Patents Act of 1977, which implements article 52(2)(c) of the European Patent Convention. So it was saying that ANN, the High Court, however, in this case disagreed, holding that ANN was not a program for the computer. So the Court of Appeal then reversed the decision. However, under Article 52, patents were only granted for inventions which were new, involving an inventive step and providing an industrial application. So certain inventions or certain subject matters fell outside the scope of an invention, such as programs for computers, meaning that they were not patentable. However, since 2006, UK courts and UK IPO have been following this Aerotel test, like I said, which was derived from the case or which was laid down in the case of Aerotel Limited versus Telco Holdings. So, to determine how to exclude the how exclusion to patentability must be applied. So one is construing the claims associated with the application. Second is identifying the actual contribution made by the invention and whether the contribution made by the invention fell under exclusion of the subject matter, and lastly checking whether the contribution was technical in nature. These were the 4 tests that were laid down by the Aerotel approach, which was later criticized by the European Patent European Patent Office, and as a result of which it basically changed the way it approached the cases. And but the UK courts actually continued to apply it pending a definitive ruling from the Supreme Court. So what did the Supreme Court decide? It basically abandoned the ruling which was there in case of Aerotel approach. So Supreme Court held that Aerotel approach can no longer be followed, and that inventions are contributing more than just being a software program. So therefore, to decide whether the subject matter of the invention is technically contributing to the patentability, is a very difficult question than just simply deciding whether it is a software program or a hardware program. So therefore, the UK courts noted a change in the jurisprudence. So they said that we need to look beyond the ambit of a reasonable difference of opinion. So the enlarged board of EPO's interpretation of Article 52 in Bentley System Limited versus in Bentley System Limited could not see, that is where the test G1 bar 19 was applied, it could not be said to fall into either category. So on the potential disruption, this change will cause the patent practice that has been followed in UK for all these years to basically change, and it may disrupt the system suddenly, but then it may be inconsistent with the jurisprudence which has been followed all these years, but it is much needed to set a new precedent. So while abandoning the Aerotel approach, the court now laid down a new precedent through G1 bar 19, which comprises of 3 stages. One is any hardware test. So this means the technical criteria, the technical contribution of the invention within the meaning of Article 52(1), if the subject matter of the claim can provide that technical contribution by use of any hardware, which is also seen in this particular case, because this is a computer program, and this computer program is not purely using a software, it is using a hardware system. So it sets the threshold really low for as to what constitutes an invention. So because in this particular invention also, it has a communication network, it has a user device. So all of these basically constitute a hardware. And then the second step is it should have an intermediate step. So examiners must determine which features of that claim basically constitute that intermediate step, and does that intermediate step actually contribute towards the technical character of that particular invention. So non-technical features can be filtered out, which does not support the novelty and inventive step. Lastly, for assessment of novelty and inventive step, only those features which contribute to the technical color and character of that invention will be assessed for novelty and inventive step. So although the court explained the intermediate step conceptually, it declined to provide any guidance on how it should be applied to practice. So ANNs, artificial neural networks, whether they are just merely programs for computers. So basically in this case, the court rejected to find or settle at a difference between hardware ANNs and software ANNs, because that should not be the only point of difference to classify an application as, or to classify an invention as patentable or not patentable, because they found it to be very abstract. An ANN is basically an abstract computational model implemented in a hardware or a software. So in this case, it basically has a set of instructions, and which is causing a machine to manipulate a data in a particular way. So accordingly, the ANN falls as a program for the computers and actually falls within the exclusion for patentability. But this invention was not just merely a computer program. So going further deeper into what this invention is about, it basically follows a hardware approach. So because it is not as straightforward as it seems. The technical criteria used here is not very straightforward, because the ANN is also a database which is storing files, and then there is also a communication network, and there is also a user device. So the hardware involvement was sufficient enough for it to not fall under exclusion of subject matter for which qualifies as patentable under Article 52(1), and therefore since it's not just a mere software program, it also has hardware elements. It could be considered a mix of the two, so therefore you cannot completely disregard it as non-patentable. So the appeal was accordingly allowed, and the UK IPO's decision was mainly set aside. So now the matter returns to the UK IPO for assessment of novelty and inventive step under this framework. So while the Supreme Court has not mainly decided regarding the application of this particular test which has been laid down replacing the Aerotel test, it allows the courts to follow this particular approach based on the facts which are provided to them. So therefore, that's why I found this case to be very interesting, because they are going by the technical approach. They are not seeing whether they are simply a hardware or a software. Even if it is a software program, they are seeing the technical contribution that it is carrying, and that is how I think even courts from other jurisdictions should view this particular invention as. So even if you're using an AI as a part of your program, you have to not just come on the face of it discard it as non-patentable, because by assuming that it is only going to be a software program, you need to study it further and understand how the part which is technical about it, and whether the technical part or the technical contribution is actually significant in bringing about a change or in contributing towards the inventive step and giving a novel technical solution to something. So now, since the guidelines have been updated in the UK Patent Office, and it is following a novel approach, as I said, the approach has been also changed now. The way it has to view the pending applications, the way it has to view the rejected applications, and the way it has to revisit all the other cases it has dealt with so far has to completely change. So even if it means it has to go through all the cases it has rejected thus far, or even if it means it has to go through all the pending applications which are there before it, and it's going to take a long time, it has to do that. And because the whole strategy that is being followed so far has been rewritten just by one particular case, and therefore it becomes extremely important to abide by the approach and to sort of since a new precedent has been set, it has to abide by that, and it has to sort of follow that. So this could be a breakthrough in understanding how AI in combination with all of these factors has really made a breakthrough in this particular case. So it is not just that AI, when combined in any sort of technical work or in any way when it is combining and giving you a particular result, where it is technically contributing and giving a particular result, will be completely discarded or considering it to be sort of dysfunctional or excluded as patentable subject matter. We need to dig deeper into the facts of the case to understand exactly how the invention works. So once we basically identify the inventive step involved, then it becomes easier to understand the invention, then it becomes easier to decide whether to grant it that patentability, and based on the novel product, based on the inventive step involved, and based on the factors that we really put it to the factors that we really put to test when we decide whether an invention is capable of meriting a patent protection. So that is what I wanted to discuss today. This is a very interesting case, and I think everyone should go through it. Thank you.